do you think that these various sort of cleansings that you've been doing are just marginals? It's not that many.
These are actions that we could have and should have taken some time ago. It's taken us some time to really understand the dynamics and what's going on. I think anytime we take actions like this, we are improving the health of the overall conversation because you're not having to guess about what's real and what's not real. Every week we challenge over 8 million accounts as to whether they are humans or bots.
8 million every week?
So we've been fairly aggressive around this. And it's in the spirit of making sure that we're giving people the right context so that they don't even have to think about, is this real or is this controlled by someone that is intending bad faith. So again, this is a process. So we have to start somewhere, we have to get better and better and better.
Edwin Koo says, how does Twitter plan to deal with heavily followed accounts that consistently violate Twitter's terms of service but still aren't banned yet?
Every single account is ruled and judged by our terms of service. So we take action on it, period.
I think that one of the, of course, controversial ones has been, for example, President Trump, and whether or not some of the statements that he's made tantamount to some kind of hate speech or violence. But Twitter said that governments and the military aren't included. Why doesn't it apply to governments and military?
Well, it's not governments and military. It's world leaders and their particular accounts. And the reason why is, as a journalist, you know the concept of newsworthiness and public interest. And we believe it's important for people to hear from their world leaders directly. And if we can be a vehicle for that, great. They're going to say some things that people disagree with on our platform and some things that people disagree with on channels like yours. And we want to make sure that we are showing the public record of what was said, but more importantly, the discussion around it. We have had a very rich history of people speaking truth to power. And if we remove that, then that ability to have that conversation also potentially goes away as well.
The implicit bit that's in Edwin's question is that you are not merely maintaining these various accounts, like let's say President Trump or any other sort of world leader, purely because they have lots and lots of followers. Because that's really what it is, isn't it?
No, we have suspended accounts that have lots of followers.
For example?
And none are coming to the top of my head, but you can see through our history.
So you would take down an account even if it had millions of followers?
If they violate our rules, absolutely.
Yeah. So I suppose it's this discomfort with, you know, when is it that you would do things that would actually also hurt you on the bottom line?
We don't think about that.
If you weren't a listed company, that might seem more plausible. But as a listed company, can you afford to say that you don't think of the bottom line?
Well, we think about the bottom line, but not in regards to enforcing our actions. Our revenue and bottom line never carries into our enforcement procedures.
One of the questions that we got from Yana Abdul Karim was, how does Twitter handle reports on tweets that are not in the English language? It's referring to, you know, how do you then, let's say, look at when there is hate speech, but it's not doesn't happen to be in English?
Well, so we have different teams that are represented around the world, and they pay attention to local laws. And if there are hate speech laws, for instance, then we may have to act on that particular content.
In Indonesia, for example, there have been complaints from the authorities' side where they say that, you know, the social media doesn't step in enough.
Could we always use more training? Could we always use more local people and resources? Absolutely. We need to figure out how to scale all these things. We have, you know, the resources that we have. We are trying to work as quickly as possible to fill any particular gaps, but at the same time, we need to prioritize that as well. So we would like to have single global answers, but we know that's not always going to be possible. And it does require real work to change that, especially at a local level.